How's it going, everybody? I wanted to give a quick update on my milling machine I drug home a couple months ago and what I've done to it to get it running, and just kind of a quick overview of it. So this is a 1961 Bridgeport Series 1 milling machine, and at one point in its life it was a CNC converted milling machine. And a little while ago they decided to pull off all the CNC equipment, and they also salvaged a lot of the parts to run on other manual mills. So they had it listed as scrap prices, and I saw the ad, went and checked it out, and we negotiated, and I ended up purchasing this thing for $100. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, wow, that's an amazing deal. I'd kill to get one of those. Well, it was for the base of the machine. There's a lot of missing parts on it, so spoiler alert, it's not a $100 machine. It's roughly the same price as the ones you see on Craigslist right now. I have quite a bit in the parts, and once everything's said and done and I actually sit down and calculate everything out, I'll give you a price point, but we're well over $1,000 into this thing right now. Just kind of a quick idea of what was missing. So the XY nut, so there's an XY nut that sits right in this underneath here, and it holds the two nuts that run the table. So when you spin the handles and move it from side to side, it's what holds it in place. The shiny new handles obviously are new. Also had to get a new front plate here and a new lead screw for this axis. I had to also get an R8 taper spindle to put in here, new spindle lock, the whole assembly for the quill lock and down feed. The motor and quill assembly and housing were all perfectly fine when I got it. That didn't require any work. So the way covers, put those on because it's just cheap insurance, and you're constantly, I work in a shop doing woodworking and metalworking, so I'm constantly kicking up dust, and I didn't want to just constantly be cleaning that. Added the hold down clamp on the side, and the light I had hanging around here, it was kicking around. I got that another point in time, and also the Bridgeport vise I had already. So it's running, and what do I think of it? I absolutely love it. I came from a round column 1987 Harbor Freight little tiny benchtop milling machine, and this is a night and day difference. These things are amazing. So if you're on the fence, if you're thinking, what, is this really worth the extra weight, the extra space it would take up in my shop, and the size and everything that goes along with it, is it worth it? Absolutely. Being able to tram the head and also knot it and tilt it if I need to make compound mills, it is amazing. The possibilities with this thing are endless, what I can do with it. As you can see right up there on the wall, I have a little 1 horsepower VFD that runs it. Obviously it's a 1 horsepower motor, little pancake motor that sits up there, and this step pulley setup, which people say isn't the most desirable. They want the one where you crank the wheel and it adjusts the speed, but this works just fine for me. So hopefully I'll have future videos on doing some more upgrades of this thing, and maybe painting it. It definitely needs a coat of paint, but right now it is functionable, and it is actually in pretty good tolerances. Nice thing about if you buy something that was a CNC converted machine is they knew what they were doing, and they had a electric oil pump right there. That old machines before those had the little or I guess it would be right there, the little grease zerks, and a lot of people would mistake those grease zerks as, i.e. grease zerks, instead of oil zerks, and they would pump those ways full of grease, and then that would not lubricate properly, and you get a lot more wear in those ways. So do your research, but if you come across one of these that was a CNC machine, don't be afraid of it. Yeah, it's going to have some wear, and yeah, it's going to be used, but it at least had the proper oil and components that were going into it to make it last. So it's a little quick update on this. Hopefully I'll have some more information on it once everything's all put together. And yeah, thanks for checking this out. Have a great night.